Hello guys, it's Bunky Bro here. Now today we are going to do things we did as kids part 2. Now let's get into this. Sorry guys, I have hiccups right now, so please bear with me. Okay, what about this one? Ooh.
After 1 hour of trying to put Adam to sleep. Adam, no. Come here.
Oh, sorry guys.
Don't write on that.
Now, that was funny videos. Okay. Kids, we all did as kids. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes! Oh, these are all... I used to do that all the time, bro. I used to do it to, like, feel, like, when I was hot and stuff. Because, yeah. Yeah, those things. I didn't do the last one, though. The last one, I never did.
Name was Waterboy. Wow. I was pretty fucking stupid, but not everything I did as a kid.
Yeah, this is a family-friendly channel, y'all. What about this?
Things that we all did as kids. I don't know what it was about being a kid. I guess our one brain cell conjoined and we all collectively decided that this was the way to live life. When I was looking at the list of this stuff, I'm like, damn, I do some of these to this day. That's kind of embarrassing. Now, of course, we got to start off with the animal walk. You know what I'm talking about. I guess we all learned that cheetahs were the fastest animal and we decided to haul ass on all fours up the stairs. I guess we thought it was a more efficient method of traveling. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I'd still walk around the house like that. My mom would be like, what the fuck are you doing? I'd be like, oh, that's tough. And of course, I don't know what it was about the dark, but the dark had me hauling ass up the stairs too. The dark was op number 1. Like, I had to get it back in blood with the dark, so I got a nightlight. And after that, I felt safe. I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'm safe from the monsters. Hey, man, I watched Monsters, Inc., and I was not lacking. But then I realized, oh shit, I'm still not safe. You know, after I was in my bed, under my blanket, I still wasn't safe. Some of you might be like, wait, what? How is that possible? The monsters, man. They were everywhere, man. The closet, under my bed, they could have been on my ceiling, and hell, one of them even got in my bed.
Bro,
Yo,
that
no,
happens to me all the
let me
time.
rephrase. I had to keep the nightlight on, and I had to keep a Nerf gun by my side, bro. I'm not lacking in the streets. If these monsters want to scrap, bro, they can get it, bro. I got the Nerf gun.
Bruh.
When I wake up in the morning, I felt great. I felt amazing. I don't know why it was, but whenever we were kids, we just felt actually
Bro,
good.
what
when
is
we
a
woke up.
Nerf
I don't know
gun
why, man,
gonna
but I
do
was
with
just
you?
ecstatic to live the day. There was so much to do, but then the dreaded
A
words
Nerf gun
came out of
doesn't
my
help.
mom's mouth. You have school today. And at that point, bro, my day was ruined. I was crying,
Oh.
I was bawling on the floor, and I was like, please, Mom, don't take me to school. And we would all do the most to try to skip school. Yes, that's right. I know everybody watching this video has done some devious ass shit to try to skip school. Whether you pretend to be sick, hide the car keys, you do something, alright? You do everything in your power. School felt like hell on earth back then. But even though, looking back, elementary school was probably the best out of all three. The other two sucked. Middle school and high school just couldn't compete, bro. And of course my ass would get dragged to school. I'd get on the bus. I'd look out the window on the bus, and it happened to be a rainy day. And I see raindrops rolling down the bus window. And of course, the race was really intense. This was like the race of the century in my mind, bro. And then you'd hear my ass in the back of the bus while everyone's looking at me. I was like, yes, that one won. It was really intense, and I really had nothing better to do on the bus. Because no way I was allowed to bring my iPod to school. That was not happening. You walk into class, everybody looks mopey, because they had to get up for school in the morning. But every single kid in that room had to find a way to entertain themselves for 7 hours. So you bet, we came up with some creative ways to entertain ourselves during school. You cannot tell me that you never poked holes in your erasers, sharpened your pencils until they were about like the length of my... And we took those goofy ass cubes, I'm gonna put a picture of them on the screen, and we'd like build big ass towers with them. And we would even take them and have sword fights with them. And of course they'd break on impact, and we'd be really sad. But I don't know what we expected. I mean, of course they're gonna break. So we take the markers and do it with markers instead. But of course that didn't work either. And I know it lasted about half a second. Nah, what are y'all staring at me for? After some boring-ass lectures and barely paying attention and getting up to some tomfoolery, it was time for lunch. And of course, we all brought different things to lunch. Now, I'd always bring a PB&J or a PB and fluff. Alright, that was the move. There was this one dude in my school that brought mac and cheese cold. I don't know why he did it, but I guess he wanted mac and cheese. But there was this methodology that we all used to eat our mac and cheese, alright? Just stuck it on the prongs of the fork, just like this. And apparently this was the most efficient way to eat our mac.
I've done that so many times, bro, and then I'll just do it all off and off and off. But my hands get messy, and I do not like when my hands get messy for some reason. And, like, bruh, it is, like, no thank you.
Mac and cheese. Now, I don't know what it was. I would save the best bite for last of my sandwich. Like, I'd just eat around my sandwich, and I'd save the best bite for last. The last bite's gotta be perfect, man. You know what I'm saying? I had to munch, bro. I needed that feel for recess. And after
I do that
about,
with
like, 20
toast
minutes,
all
it was
the
time
time.
for recess. We went outside. Every single motherfucker on that playground felt like they were on top of the world. We'd all climb the monkey bars, spin on those spinny things. You know what I'm talking about. And even sometimes the gym teacher would break out that parachute thing. Yeah, and it was amazing. And of course, what we all remember is our fingers feeling like they're fucking broken after the monkey bars. Feeling like we just chugged a bottle of Captain Morgan after that goddamn spinny thing. And the slides, man, they were either really staticky or just warm as hell. There was no in between. It was depending on which ones you had, of course. And after a few more hours, you were like, let's go, school's over. And you walk outside, you were smoking that pack in the air. You were pretending to, at least. You were breathing it in and just blowing out air. Because school's over, we're smoking that pack. And we head back home, and we were hoping that there were some pizza rolls in that goddamn toaster. And if it was a good day. I will say that for sure. Like, I always had a snack waiting for me when I got home, bro. My mom took good care of me. I had either Oreos, pizza rolls, and I wondered why I was fat. And you know it was a good day if your mom was like, all right, we gotta go clothes shopping. And then I'd start complaining like, no, I don't want to go clothes shopping. And then the words left her mouth. If you're good, I'll take you to Chuck E. Cheese. What? Is it possible? Charles Entertainment Cheese? And I'd start freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, I get to meet him in the flesh? Are you serious? The skater rat with W Drip? No way, bro. This is an honor. I don't know what they did to my boy now, but shit, that's just some disrespect. And of course, we went clothes shopping, and my dumb ass wasn't really behaving. Of course not. And I was just running around the clothes store, and like I was on some kind of adventure. And I would hide in the clothes racks. Maybe that was just me. I don't know. But
Yes,
I'd hide
I
in
thought
the
it was
clothes
in a
racks until
forest.
my mom would come find me. Like, I'd act like it's a game of hide and seek.
Yeah. I've actually thought that I actually acted like that was a forest where I wish it was. So I can just be exploring, bro. Like, it was so fun.
seat. She's like, all right, come out or we're not going to Chuck E. Cheese. And of course I'd break. I'd be like, no, I want to go to Chuck E. Cheese. And I'd sprint out of the goddamn clothing rack. And of course after I got my clothes, we went to Chuck E. Cheese. You know, best place on the globe in my 8-year-old, 7-year-old mind. There was no better. So I'd play my games, I'd get my prizes, and then I would go home. And of course I had to do my homework before, unfortunately. But hey, I still went. And I was playing skee ball and I was cooking up. There was no stopping me. I was in my element. I would spin that ticket wheel thing all the time. I was trying to get the big prize. Hey man, I've always been a bag chaser. I have my eyes set in the right direction. And of course I would play basketball too. I was always hooping up. Then when I get home from Charles Entertainment Cheese, I get a call on the phone and it's from my neighbor. And he's like, yo, you want to have a sleepover? I'm like, yes bro, of course I want to have a sleepover. So I went there. And of course we had to bring our DSs. That's just how it was. It was a staple. And we'd build like some kind of fort, whether it was with the couch or a pillow fort. We would just chill in the fort and play our Mario Kart DS. Like, tell me not every kid did this. Like, there's no way you did it if you grew up in the 2000s or 2010. You get your little pillow fort going. Now remember that sometimes we would prank the person that fell asleep first at sleepovers. So my ass was up pretty late. And I was parched. Alright? I'm like, I gotta go downstairs and I gotta drink some water. And tell me not, 3 a.m. water just hits different. And then I just saw my friend's magnets on the fridge. And I was just fucking playing with them like an idiot. I was trying to get them to stick together. At this point, it was pretty late at night. We did our thing. And of course, the kid, he was really upset that he got pranked. Obviously, no one's gonna be happy that they pissed themselves. I'd either have sleepovers at my friend's house that I met at school or my neighbor's house. Alright? Those were the two spots for me. Now remember, bro, I'd crash at like 2 a.m. and my ass didn't fall asleep first. So luckily, I was not the one being pranked that very night. And when I woke up in the morning, I still felt pretty good, even though I didn't get much sleep that night. Like, we gotta do what we gotta do. I'm not trying to pee myself over here. Now, I just remember smelling those pancakes in the morning. And oh my god, I just remember having chocolate chip pancakes in the morning at my friend's sleepovers. That just hit different. If you did not have that experience, man, you missed out. Chocolate chip pancakes in the morning was a special occasion. Not Eggo ones, not Eggo pancakes. Homemade. That shit was crazy. And of course, we'd log on to the good old Wii in the morning after breakfast. And it was fun. Of course, we played Wii Sports, as always. And if you were a 90s kid, you probably played the Nintendo 64 or something like that. But anyways, comment down below what you did as a kid. Want another video to watch? Watch this video on screen. Anyways, I'm out. Bye.
Yeah. I've always tried to get home to kid. Like, I don't want to go to school every day. And I try excuses, but they don't work. Anyways, guys, I'm very sorry for the bad words, you know. And let's get started with another video.
Part of growing up is learning more about how the world works, and one of the ways you learn is by experimenting, trying stuff, because why not? I don't know what'll happen, and besides, it could be fun. So it's only natural to look back at stuff you did when you were younger and had less experience and think, why would I do that? Knowing what you know now, it seems dumb, but you wouldn't know what you know now if you hadn't tried what you did then, which is mostly my way of justifying the dumb stuff I did when I was a kid, so you don't judge me, because I didn't know any better, okay? I was just a sweet, innocent child trying to find his way in a cruel and confusing world. Some of the dumb stuff I did as a kid wasn't that big of a deal, and is honestly kind of adorable. Like one time, I got a cardboard box, I brought it to the top of the stairs, climbed in, and slid down, like a roller coaster, made of cardboard. 5-year-old Tim Tom didn't know what would happen once he ran out of stairs. However, thanks to past Tim's sacrifice/experiment, we now know that the box will explode, and the sole passenger will indeed smack the concrete floor of the basement, and it will hurt, and much like a baby bird/fighter pilot, he will lay there in shock before shouting, "Mayday!" Because that's what you're supposed to shout when you're in trouble, apparently. Speaking of stairs, when I was younger and smaller, I would climb stairs on all fours. I'd lean over and go into animal mode. Something about it just felt faster, and I think it's probably a more efficient way to climb stairs when you're
Yes,
little, you know?
it
But the thing
is.
is, I only lived in a
It's
house with
faster.
stairs for about a year when I was 5, so I built that habit when I was young. But then we moved to a place that didn't have stairs, which meant I never really had the opportunity to outgrow it. As far as my body was concerned, the best way to climb stairs was still like a dog. It just came naturally. So years later, when I was a teenager, I remember going over to a friend's house for the first time, and when we went up the stairs to his room, my muscle memory kicked in and I clambered up the stairs with all the coordination of a greased up baby deer. Both him and his mom were like, what you doing there? And sure, that's kind of embarrassing, but old habits die hard, so as much as I knew it looked weird for me to rumble up the stairs like that, I probably only had 1 or 2 opportunities a week to break that habit and practice walking like a normal person. So every time I went over to his house, I would go back on autopilot and continue to climb the stairs like a total weirdo. I'm not the only one that climbs stairs like that, right, guys? Guys?
Yeah, you're not the only one.
just be over here if you need me.
Oh.
One time I pooped in the bushes. Don't worry, this one also happened when I was 5.
Whoa.
I'm not going around pooping all willy-nilly as an adult. Go over to a friend's house. Excuse me, could you point me toward your shrubbery? So I was at a playground, and there was a huge bush that had this little tunnel through the middle, just big enough for a little kid to walk through. And on either side of the tunnel, the bush had what I can only describe as 2 tiny rooms in it. For some reason, the boys on the playground were taking turns going into the bush and peeing in one of the little rooms. And at this point, you can probably guess the rest of the story. I needed to go number 2, and I figured that if one of the rooms was for peeing, then the other must be for pooping. I will remind you that I was only 5. A 5-year-old without TV. This is where my memory of the situation goes about as fuzzy as an analog TV in a blizzard. I don't know if I admitted to my mom what happened, or if I just pulled my pants up and dealt with it later. Either way, the whole ordeal was very uncomfortable. But at least that time, I was the only victim of my stupidity. If you don't count my mom having to put up with a smelly boy. Another time, and again, I was only 5 and couldn't possibly have known better, I saw someone do that classic magic trick in a movie where they rip a tablecloth out from under a bunch of plates and silverware and everything stays in roughly the same place. That's because of a little thing called inertia. But I didn't know physics when I was a kid, so when I tried, I failed to properly account for several variables. Here's how it went down. One of my friends came over to play, and I was excited to show off a new trick I saw on the TV, but I didn't have a tablecloth or anything to put on it, so I looked around the house until I found something close enough. The bath mat in the bathroom was kind of like a tablecloth, so I had her stand on it and yanked it as hard as I could. Instead of effortlessly slipping out from under her like I expected, her feet flew out from under her with the bath mat, and she slammed her head on the edge of the bathtub. And she didn't make it. Very long before bursting into tears, my mom rushed in and asked what happened, and I didn't want to get in trouble, so I said that she fell. Which is technically true. Please don't judge me, I feel awful enough. But one of my favorite stories to tell from when I was a kid happened a few years later. One hot summer weekend, my mom installed a brand new ceiling fan in our living room. That doesn't seem important, but stick with me. Not long after, one of my friends and my sister and I were hanging out in the living room, trying to cool off. My mom poked her head in to tell us she was going to run to the post office real quick and would be back in about 10 minutes. A little while after she left, my sister went to the kitchen and grabbed a few cans of soda and a ballpoint pen. She explained to us that the rivet that holds a can's pull tab on is in the exact center of the can, and you can use a pen to punch a hole in it. So, she put a hole in the top of the can, covered it with her finger, gave it a little shake, and then drank some soda by shooting it into her mouth. It was kinda cool, and my friend very enthusiastically tried it out for himself, but he shook his can way harder than necessary, and I guess he didn't have great aim, because when he went to drink, all he got was a nose full of carbonation. When he pulled his head out of the line of fire, the jet stream just kept going. It absolutely covered the ceiling and my mom's brand new ceiling fan. My sister and I just looked up, frozen in horror, having no idea what to do. Before we could even finish processing what just happened, my mom walked in with a big smile on her face that lasted for about 2 seconds before shouting, "I was gone for 10 minutes!" The aftermath of that story is that my friend started crying because my mom yelled at him, and we never...
Yeah, I've tried every single one of them. It was very, very fun. Honestly, guys, I think this is the last part. I'm doing things we did as kids. So, you better like and subscribe. Thank you. Peace out.